We've slowly changed the roadmap over to something that's much more incremental.
Vitalik can actually say what they intend to do is proof that they're not a decentralized network.
We're trying to agree on, like, I don't know, did Epstein kill himself?
In today's episode of Essential Investing, the founder of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, reveals exactly why he made the risky decision to transform the Ethereum network from a proof of work to a proof of stake system despite Vitalik's opinion is then challenged by one of the world's largest holders of Bitcoin, Michael Saylor. Saylor lays into Vitalik, Ethereum, and proof of stake because he does not believe it is as secure and effective as Bitcoin's proof of work system for creating sound money. In the comments below, let us know which points you agree with and disagree with from our guests and which crypto you think is best.
Can you briefly summarize your vision, how Ethereum 2.0 will make Ethereum more scalable, secure, and sustainable?
We've slowly changed the roadmap over to something that's much more incremental. Right. So, proof of stake happens kind of over time, and then sharding gets added over time, and all of these features get added over time. And so the experience for just a regular Ethereum user still feels very seamless. Right. So proof of stake is a consensus mechanism, so by which nodes in the network agree on, which blocks came in, which transactions came in what order, make sure that once a block gets accepted, it can't get reverted, and all of these things that we expect from a blockchain. So existing blockchains, including Bitcoin, including the Ethereum of today, and including a lot of them, they use proof of work, right? I like proof of stake, and I've liked proof of stake for many years, basically because it just requires much less ongoing resource consumption. Right, like with proof of work, you have to actually go and buy these physical computers, and these days, they have specialized hardware, ASICs, application-specific integrated circuits. You have to go produce them, and you have to go buy them, and unless you have millions of dollars, you have to buy them from one of these other people who creates them, and those other people often end up taking a huge cut of the profits themselves, and then you have to plug them in. You have to just burn all of this electricity that's just running 24/7. So it consumes a huge amount of energy, right? And and not just energy, it also, just to create the hardware, right? Like people focus a lot on energy, but actually about half the cost of proof of work mining is the cost of the hardware. So hardware is a very big deal too. And you need this this really big and powerful, very specialized hardware, the kind that fills up these big warehouses. So proof of stake, you don't really need that much electricity. You just need just a little bit to run a regular computer. You can run proof of stake validators on computers that you already have. So it's just much less resource intensive. And this is good for a few reasons, right? One is, the kind of environmental rationale that, you're not breaking the environment. The second is that you're not taking away electricity and other resources from other people, right? There's, I think just today I saw a story about Iran wanting to shut down some Bitcoin mining because it was just grabbing up so much electricity that it was, outbidding the nearby towns, and they just didn't have enough. And then there is Chia, the one that's doing proof of hard disk mining, basically is just grabbing up so many hard disks that there's a shortage, right? So that's the second reason. And then the third, more selfish reason is that because participating in consensus does not require so much energy expenditure, you don't need to pay people as much to participate, right? So Bitcoin and Ethereum, they both issue somewhere around 4% of the total supply every year right now to miners. So Ethereum is about 4.7 million Ether, and the current supply is about 115 million. But with proof of stake, we expect it'll be somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million per year. So that means the supply doesn't have to increase so quickly. So
one of the pros that that people sort of argue for the proof of work is that it is secure because it's much more difficult to sort of, as you've highlighted, it's difficult to participate. What are your thoughts about the security of the proof of stake mechanism? Is there ways to make it secure?
So I think proof of stake is very secure because in order to be able to attack the system, you need to have basically as much stake as the rest of the network, right? So that means right now, for example, we have 5 million ETH staking. So you have to come up with 5 million ETH and then join the network. And then the other, so 5 billion ETH is a lot, right? It's like, how much is it now? Like $15 billion. So that's actually more than I believe the cost of attacking the Bitcoin network. And then the second thing is that recovering from attacks is much easier in proof of stake than in proof of work, right? Because in proof of stake, you have, like, first of all, we have, for many kinds of attacks that you do against this network, we have this concept of like automatic slashing, right? Which basically means that in order to like revert a finalized block. So if there's one block that's like accepted by the network and you try to convince the network to kind of revert that block and accept a different block, in order to make that kind of attack, you basically have to have your validator, like a big portion of your validators, sign two conflicting messages. And this is something that, like, once these messages are on the network, like, you can go and prove, like, look, these people did it. And so we have this feature in the protocol called slashing, where you basically take all these people who provably misbehaved and you burn their coins, right? And you don't burn anyone else's coins. Now, there are other cases, like, for example, if instead of reverting blocks, the attack just tries to censor everyone, right? Then what you do, everyone who got censored would just like basically create the minority chain, and then the community would basically have to do a soft fork, right? They would just have to say, like, look, this chain is clearly attacking us, this chain is the one not attacking us, and so we're going to join this chain. And then what happens is that on that new chain, the attackers also lose a lot of coins. Right.
Yeah.
So the difference between proof of stake and proof of work is that in a proof of stake system, like, you can identify specific participants and you can say, you know, these, and like, this isn't like, you know, a human going in and saying, I don't like you, I don't like you, I don't like you. This is like automated, right? You can.
So the slashing process is automated.
Yes.
Is there ways it can go wrong? So that's a painful process where the coins are burned.
It is painful. Yes. I think, I mean, the one big unknown, of course, is like if an attack actually happens, and like if an attack happens that requires the community to actually choose one of these minority forks, then like what would the community actually successfully coordinating on this look like, right? Like it's like, you know, we can talk about it and we can, you know, write like science fiction novels about it, but like until it's happened, you don't really know the details of like what it looks like and how difficult.
In the Ethereum community, how do people, what are the sources of natural language-based communication that have an emergent belief structure that you would say? Or is it all through money? Is it all through trading that the communication happens?
The thing to emphasize around, like, can you actually come to consensus on, you know, whether or not to fork the chain because the attacker is censoring everyone, just for example, is like, everyone who's running a node is going to see almost the same thing, right? Like, they're going to be off by a few seconds, and like maybe they'll be off by a few minutes, they'll disagree by a few minutes, but like if it's a serious attack, you know, people are going to know, right? It's not like one of those things where, you know, we're trying to agree on, like, I don't know, did Epstein kill himself, or like some, you know, random political facts where like in reality, no one knows a single thing about what's actually going on and they're all speculating. Like it is much more visible, right? So we do have that, but, you know, at the same time, I'm happy to admit that like these are fairly untested mechanisms, but like at the same time, they're also untested mechanisms in proof of work, right? And like in proof of work, it's even harder because in proof of work, you don't have the ability to like identify and say, like, you know, I'm going to, these miners attacked, and so we're not going to let these miners in, these miners did not attack, so we're going to keep them in. Like, you have to pretty much, you know, either take out none of the miners, or you do a fork that changes the proof of work algorithm, which takes out all of the miners, right? So the economics of like recovering from attacks in proof of work, at least to me, actually do seem like more unfavorable. But, you know, I'm sure the proof of work people you talk to will give very different and contradictory opinions, and that's totally fine and amazing.
Is it possible to create a digital money without injecting energy into it that is sound? It sounds like you're saying that's impossible. Is that correctly summarized?
I don't think you can. I think that we only have discovered one way that is settled and universally agreed upon to create digital energy or a digital commodity. And the one way is proof of work. I take electricity and I run it through some kind of hashing algorithm. So the problem with proof of stake is that proof of stake is a simulation of the universe, or an imaginary universe. You're imagining energy, and you're creating a virtual machine. They literally call it a virtual machine with virtual energy in the form of virtual tokens for virtual security, all manifested in software code. Someone has to write that software code. And if you write that software code and you keep changing it over and over and over again, then you've got this problem, which is how can I continually change the software without someone having influence over the software?
Yeah.
You, in essence, have created a software company.
Mm-hmm.
So with Ethereum, the Ethereum Foundation is a software company. There's a lot of software engineers that have to write the software. They have to be paid. Someone has to budget for the payment of the engineers. The only hope you have of something based on software becoming a commodity is you write the software once, you gift it to the world, and then you stop changing it and you distribute it across 20, 30, 50, 100, 1,000 different parties. And if everybody can run the software, and if there's no need to change it, and if no one organization controls it, now it becomes sufficiently decentralized. So you see, that's the fact pattern with Bitcoin. The reason it's important for Bitcoin to be simple is the software, the protocol needed to be substantially finished when it was first released by January 3rd, 2009. I don't think there's a difference between being able to change something and being able to corrupt something. And anybody can create their own Bitcoin miner. Anybody can mine Bitcoin. Anybody can, electricity is broadly found in the universe. And you're not waiting. You don't need the permission of anybody to allow you to get on the network and mine. I think all the ESG FUD is originated by and promulgated by the other cryptos. So this starts within the crypto industry and it is a fire set by the crypto industry. And so the whole basis is Bitcoin is bad because it uses energy, and we have a better tool that doesn't use energy using proof of stake.
Yeah.
And it's a not in kind propaganda campaign or marketing campaign. Call it guerrilla marketing. This is all just guerrilla marketing by other crypto promoters. And the motive is, I want to convince you that you should consider a crypto other than Bitcoin that doesn't use energy. And also, I want to distract you from the observation that the other cryptos without energy are unregistered securities, and therefore you can't trade them and you shouldn't buy them. It's not ethical to promote them. If you take the energy out of the coin, you've created a coupon. And if you take the energy out of the coin, it's not money, it's credit. And if you take the energy out of the coin, it's not a commodity, it's a security. And therefore, the only question is, how are you going to inject the energy? The economic hazard is when the energy disappears, it's easy to spin up 10,000 copycat networks. Mm-hmm. Right. So the real problem is once you go to proof of stake, well, then what's to keep you from making copies? Giving the protocol developers the freedom to optimize the system as they wish is what makes it a security and not a commodity. Right? The whole reason that it doesn't work is because you've got us. Us is who does us refer to, right? In the entire diatribe, presumably us refers to a small group or a defined group of protocol developers that are tinkering with the code in order to make the universe the way they want it to be. That makes it a software company, and that makes ETH an investment contract, and that makes every ETH investor relying upon the efforts of others. But the sleight of hand here is somehow to say, well, Bitcoin is a digital asset without an issuer, and we're sort of like Bitcoin, but we have a lot more features and don't use electricity, so favor us. But of course, the logical fallacy is they're nothing like Bitcoin because they're not assets without issuers. They're assets with issuers, right? If you have the fact that Vitalik can actually say what they intend to do is proof that they're not a decentralized network. A true crypto network doesn't have anybody that can tell you what's going to happen next. That's why Satoshi disappeared. A minor achievement, which we should recognize as an achievement, is the creation of a digital commodity.
Mm-hmm.
But the brilliant achievement is the creation of a digital scarcity. You know, we can make changes if we see fit. That's the kiss of death for a commodity. The fact that you can change it. And, you know, I think that most of the problems in the world are well-intentioned people changing things, right? That's the problem. The fact that you can change it is what corrupts it.
I highly recommend you watch the next video with crypto billionaire Michael Saylor because he breaks down the differences between Bitcoin's proof of work and Ethereum's proof of stake systems and why one system is miles above the other.